welcome back to Starlight Talks. I don't have a guest this week. It's just me. So I thought that I would talk about my Dalek Years, which is something that I used to label the years I was in defense mode, and so I'll explain that in a minute. So, as usual, check out the website, autism.com. You can check out my blog there where I write about living on the spectrum. And you can check out some of my other cool things. We got support group tomorrow night, so RSVP for that. And, yeah. So, I do these talks every Wednesday, so come back next week for another talk on something else related to autism. So, again, I was out doing something, so I'm in the car again, different location. I was gonna talk about my Dalek years, which I called them my Dalek years because I was really angry, and the Dalek is a creature from Doctor Who, which is a TV show that has removed all emotion from him, and all that creature can feel is hate, which is sort of how I felt at the time. And it was before my diagnosis, and it just felt like the world was against me, where no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't keep up, and I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and I felt very judged. So I'm going to talk about that, and please leave any questions, and I'll answer them. I love to answer your questions, whether it's related to the topic or not. So I'm mostly going to talk about middle school. I have a few opinions about that. So, and Lillian, are you listening?
Yeah,
if you want to chime in at any time, you can chime in.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, my twin sister's in the back. Y'all know her, Lillian Carrier. So, there's something that happens around the age 12 and 13, and so you'll see it like around 5th and 6th grade, I think, where you start feeling more grown up, but you get more restrictions on you, because fear parenting really starts to weigh in. You see more and more fear parenting taking place, and I've talked about fear parenting in the past. I'll quickly go over what that is, but go check out that video I did with my mom, parenting out of fear. So parenting out of fear is when you react out of something that might happen rather than being in reality. So you're afraid that something is going to happen, and so you try to prevent that. That's fear parenting. So you'll see that happen a lot with around 12 or 13. You'll see kids trying to grow up and be more independent, but you see parents start putting curfews on them and start doing things because they're afraid of something that the middle schooler is going to do. And I think that there's with us with autism, we have a very strong what's fair is fair and what's right is right kind of mindset. So it gets really confusing at that age, because you hit a lot of things that are really confusing socially and academically, and then on top of that you feel punished and not trusted, and so this anger really sets in. That is my service dog. And so you'll see a lot of aggression start happening around that age. You'll see a lot of anger start manifesting. And that's definitely what happened to me and the way I reacted is I shut myself in my room and didn't want to interact with the world. Other people will lash out, they will snap, they will punch, they will yell. I did some of that as well. And so that, yeah, those kind of memories have come to mind, and I just wanted to address that today, because I did a post earlier today that talked about how we tend to dissect people, especially, like, I get so many questions from parents that are this phrased in different ways. Like, is this thing that my child is doing related to autism, or is it just them being a teenager, or just them being 9 years old, or just them being whatever? And I now think the best answer to that question is to stop looking at the child as parts of them being autistic, and parts of them being their age, and parts of them being their orientation, and parts of them being their gender, and look at them as a whole, as a complete being. Because let's say that they, for whatever reason, are throwing a tantrum. How do you know the difference between it being an overwhelming experience related to autism, or a teenager just being bratty and wanting something? Well, first of all, I don't think you can tell the difference between that, and I'm gonna say, like, that wanting something and being told no can also might be triggering, just like the last straw, or it could be an overwhelming experience for so many different reasons. But getting off topic. But if you react to that tantrum coming from the kid is overwhelmed, let's try to help them out, you're gonna get a better result, even if it's just them being bratty. Because they're still having, like, they're still melting down. And so if you come at it, you know what, right now I honestly can't get you whatever it is you want, but what can I do to make you feel better? Like, that kind of thing is always gonna get a better result than you assuming that someone's being a brat, even if they are, however you want to define brat. But so when you look at someone as a complete being, you get rid of those judgments of, is it just this one part of them lashing out? Is it just this one part of them making a decision? It's the whole being of the person making a decision. We're all whole and complete, and autism will affect every part of our lives. There are no decisions I make that, like, this is an autistic choice, this is not an autistic choice. That's not how it works. And so getting rid of those kind of dissections of a person is really helpful in interacting with them. So when you ask her questions, she said, do you feel your age emotionally? I've heard that Aspies don't match up to the age till around 25-ish. So people are judged by their immaturity because they look older than they're acting. So I find this really interesting because there's a theory that people believe that those of us on the spectrum act 5 years younger than our age, which I guess in some ways we do, but, like, when you talk about maturity, like, that's so complex. I feel like a lot of us on the spectrum are very mature in some ways and very immature in other ways, where, like, we have the confidence and really know what we want and what we like, and I think that's really mature, you know? For me, I feel like I've always known like what a true friend is and how to be one, and I think there's grown adults who don't know that, and in that way I feel very, very mature. That I'm dealing with so many people who are neurotypical, I guess no social skills, but are like cruel and awful, and like there's people like I don't understand why when I say, hey, let's make plans, and someone just lies about what they're doing instead of saying, you know, I don't want to hang out today. I feel like that's really immature. But that's very common for neurotypicals and not so much those of us on the spectrum, because we're known to not be able to lie. I mean, that's not typical for everyone on the spectrum, but like it's...
I do think our executive functioning ages slower though.
Yes, so executive functioning, motor skills, like all those things can definitely make us appear younger. We could seem naive because we don't know what you're saying if you're not straight up like saying what you mean. But I think that there's a lot of maturity that we have that is well beyond other people.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of areas where we're very immature. So, and it definitely depends on the person as well. But one of the things that I actually talked about this with Danny Rady, that we found out when we're behind in certain areas, we work really, really, really hard to learn it. And then once we learn it, we're way ahead of the neurotypical. Mm-hmm. So I feel like in a lot of ways, we can get very much ahead socially in certain areas because we research it. And once we have it down, like now I know how to initiate and make friends, and you know, like I have a guide to that I learned from books and I learned from television, and like I I'm talking to people, I'm like, you don't know that when you do this you're telling me this? Like I learned that in a book. Like that's a hard question to answer because it's like, so like this area I'm mature in, this area I don't feel as mature in. I hope that sort of answers your question. But it's definitely very individualized, and if you're motivated to work on areas that you struggle in, you're gonna mature very quickly, I think. And definitely having worldly experience is very helpful, and those of us with autism have go through so much stuff that matures us, because we go through tough times more so than other people. We experience more pain, and I think that creates patience. It creates more impatience for things like bullshit. And I think that's very maturing, where there's a lot of neurotypicals out there that I've met that have lived a very charmed life, that's what I call it, and it's no fault of theirs, but I just feel like they don't have the maturity that those who have like been through stuff have. And those of us on the spectrum, we have to learn how to go through stuff because it's just gonna happen. It's inevitable. Right, Benji? Yeah, he's complaining about it. He's like, it's so unfair. I mean, I have a service dog, like, because that helps me with life. Right, Lillian?
Yeah. Service dogs are the best.
Hi, Richard. Thank you for joining. Hi, Cammie. Whoa. Hi, Alex. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Mom. Mom, thank you for watching.
We love you, Mom.
Yeah, Lillian's in the back there. I'm sorry it's so shaky. I'm holding this with my arm. So...
It's a little shaky, Mom.
The car's shaky, so... I don't... if this makes you dizzy, I'm so sorry. Close your eyes. You just answered it so maturely and taught me some new things to ponder with my 20-year-old son. You're welcome. Thank you for the question. I love questions that make me think about and identify with myself, you know. I learned so much about myself when you guys ask me questions. Oh my god, I wish I could tell you where we just were while we're in the car. Yeah. But I can't. It's just popping. But yeah, today just reminded me so much of school. And then the shit that went down. I don't know if I could say shit on that, but I did. So yeah, that's so middle school. What else happened in those Dalek years? Oh yeah, video games. Yeah. Video games. So when you don't have friends, video games like have characters that you can hang out with. So we still have a need to be social, and video games taught us, the two of us, a lot of social skills, right?
Oh yeah.
And so when we were in middle school, I think we spent most of our time on video games, and
it's great to learn how to
yeah, all of our free time was there. And I know there was a lot of fear parenting based on that we weren't going to learn anything and waste all of our time and be homeless on the computer. I don't know. But I don't know what the fear was, but I know that that at the time I couldn't explain why I was on the computer so much, but I really give credit to the computer, to books, to television for teaching social skills. And now there's such amazing stories out there about autism that can really help those on the spectrum. And I really hope one day there's video games that teach you social skills that are really fun to play, you know, like that are meant for those of us on the spectrum, you know, like I'm seeing the future right now, and it's an inclusive world, and it's beautiful. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. But the middle school is such a tough time for those of us on the spectrum. Yeah. And so if you have a middle schooler, like, go home and validate them and just say, like, I am so sorry you're in pain right now, and I love you, and you're so strong. Like, that will change the world between the both of you. Like, just like do that as much as you can, because that is what I needed. And yeah, go play video games with them, because that's what middle schoolers need. So Tiffany says she has an uncomfortable question here. Well, I love those, are my favorite. How hard was it to transition into middle school or start puberty versus neurotypical? All right, so puberty, one of the things I didn't expect from puberty is I went from having straight hair to curly hair. And you take care of curly hair very differently than you take care of straight hair. Yep. So, I had the frizziest hair you could imagine, and knots everywhere. So, yeah, I was picked on for that. I felt like very much picked on by my mom. Yeah, I didn't know how to deal with that. So, like, that was one of the unexpected things.
She still doesn't know how to take care of it.
Yeah, that's why I cut it off.
I tell her so many things. She's like, I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I just cut it off. That was my solution. So, but it's so much better than it was in middle school.
And then sensory problems
get worse. Yes.
If you don't have them, they may appear.
Yes. So there's a lot of diagnoses, especially with girls, because sensory problems appear during the time you have your period. When you have your period, the sensory issues like touch, smell, sound, all of that heightens during that time. so you'll see new symptoms that you may not have noticed before. Oh no. I need a charger. I have a cord. I don't know if it has these.
I have a...
Yeah, so I started mine on my 12th birthday, like on my birthday.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And it was regular from that point and very, very painful. So I went on the pill immediately and it helped with cramps. But yeah, it was really hard. I skipped school so much because of my period. 'Cause I didn't realize that a lot of my symptoms were autism related. So yeah, I was going into the sensory overloads much more easier, and I didn't understand what they were. Can't find my charger. Here it is. I don't know. Figure out where that plugs in.
Or not glove in this.
So that's what Cillian got hers much later than me. I was one of the first, so it was I felt on my own with that. Like there wasn't really peers I could talk to for a while.
USB?
No.
What?
I hope everyone's okay with me talking about this. I had a fear of blood, like a huge phobia of that, so that was very difficult. I actually went to a hypnotist to get over that, and
Yeah, it's not gonna work, Chloe.
Okay. Lillian, remember I went to a hypnotist to get over my fear of blood because of my period?
Did it work?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just got desensitized because I had to, you know. But like, if you need to skip school, like, I think it's important that you do, and you like find ways to take care of yourself and deal, and don't let the school intimidate you. Because I felt very invalidated when I was overwhelmed with that, and because my parents were like, you just have to deal and figure it out and go to... I think I have hot chocolate on my lip. It looks like a mustache. I just realized that.
You're adorable.
I'm all over the place today. So sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, I remember feeling very invalidated because people would say like that's just something you have to deal with for the rest of your life. So like get over it. And I'm like, but I'm going through a really rough time. So a lot of validation is very helpful. Validation is like the go-to answer. If you don't know what to do, validation. So Joelle says, what were some of the characters that have stuck with you? I think we're referencing back to like video games and books and movies. Harry Potter, for sure, were my friends throughout my whole childhood. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Willow was very important to me. She, like, the feeling invisible and feeling that way. There was like a really great storylines about that. What other characters? JJ from Skins. If you like, that's a little bit mature.
That's what's like
But
teenage.
yeah,
If you need that connection.
if you need an autistic character that is complete and whole, watch Skins, the second generation. JJ's amazing. This amazing
amazing representation. I loved being human because those characters just go through a lot together. Stargirl, yeah, that's one of my favorite books. Stargirl, everyone should read Stargirl. That is a middle school experience if there ever was one. Read Stargirl. Thunderbirds has an amazing female character. It's superhero. I love The Secret Garden. I just like the idea of like the kids just going off and creating their own safe place. You know, like Bridget Terabithia. Like I had a theme of like that kind of thing. You know, Narnia, where like the kids would go off and deal with their issues in their imaginary place, which was, it is sort of like how I use video games. And I had a lot of imaginary stuff in my head that I did that really helped me. So specifically video game characters, we played
Well, Mario was one that we...
Yeah, we didn't really play, like we didn't have stories.
Nancy Drew.
Yeah, we played like Nancy Drew, we played Club Penguin, Foo Pets, Nintendogs, Animal Crossing. So we didn't really have like,
You played that farm one.
yeah, Animal Crossing, right?
Oh, I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, so we didn't have like characters like we did, like I did in movies and books. But yeah, I would say like that the Buffy characters really were my friends.
We played like Pajama Sam. That was
Yeah, we did play Pajama Sam and Freddy Fish and Putt Putt.
like the story of Pajama Sam and like him like dealing with his fear of darkness and like then becoming
Yeah.
friends with darkness. Like that's like a really good storyline for the like little kid to like understand the fear and like how to get over it. And like I did really connect with that story and like that a million times.
Yeah. In middle school we discovered Doctor Who, and I remember that being really excited to come home to on like Monday nights. You know, we'd come home from school, watch Doctor Who, do our homework.
We connect a lot with like aliens,
Yeah,
foreign,
like
in a new world,
yeah,
right?
like X-Men and
Don't quite fit in, right? It's like the autistic experience in a
yeah,
world.
yeah.
Any character like that would be a good representation.
Yeah, so, oh my god, I'm on 5%. Thank you for these questions. Thank you for listening. I think that we should start wrapping up. Do you have anything else you want to add about the Dalek Years?
It's a struggle, but like there is a light, and you just look for the positives and really focus on that. Because you will get through it, and like things get better. You learn from your mistakes. Like the middle school years are just like mistake after mistake, because it's all new, and then you learn and you get better, and it gets easier.
Yeah. This is a very positive message.
I hope so.
Yeah, middle school is tough and it sucks, so sorry. Yeah, you'll get through it. Just, yeah. I don't know what
what else to say.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. Y'all are very colorful people, and you need to stay that way. So stay colorful, especially you in middle school. Don't fade away to the Daleks. Actually, Daleks can be pretty colorful, but we don't want to be.
Yeah, and you don't want to be colorful that way.
No. So I'm tired. All right.
Bye.
How do I end? Okay, bye.